tickets for Louis Prima. Sure? If you have tickets for Louis Prima, he's not going to be here. But the good news is we'll still be open, and we're going to do what's called the Friday Night Live, which is just our band. And we've got a couple of special guests coming to sing. And it'll be a big time had by all. And that'll go on. That'll happen this weekend. So Friday night, you can now buy tickets. They were not on sale till 10 o'clock this morning, but now tickets are on sale for Friday Night Live if you want to come hang out with us and be a bunch of nonsense. Let's see. Keith Horn has joined our band. And if for those of you who don't know, Keith is, I've known, kind of known Keith, but certainly known of Keith for many years. Played with everybody. Tell me, who was your first Nashville gig? Because everybody makes this decision. Tell me how you made the decision. Okay, I'm going to move to Nashville and take a shot at doing something. How'd that all come about?
Well, I was in Virginia, where I was born and raised, and I just, got tired of doing everything I did in Virginia, and I even got to be on a TV show in Washington, D.C. For about a year. But I said, Nashville, I feel like it's where I need to be. So I went there. Ended up going to a place called the Stockyard.
Yeah.
Which was the place to be. Yep. I mean, that's where everybody hung out at. And the bass player knew me and asked me to sit in. Well, it just so happened Tanya Tucker's band leader sat in at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I played one song and did a little bass solo, and then I sang a song, and then when I got off the stage, he came over to me and said, "Are you looking for a gig?" I said, "I actually am." I said, "I just moved here," and I'd been there 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He said, "Well, we're auditioning bass players for Tanya Tucker. I'm her band leader." I'm like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I'm a big fan of her ever since, she was young." And so there was like 8 bass players on it, and because I sang so high that I went in and auditioned, and before I could even get, it's before cell phones and all that.
Yeah.
I was staying with Dave Fowler, a friend of mine who was playing with Lori Morgan.
Yeah.
And before I could even get back to the apartment, he was standing in the doorway, and I walked in, and I was like, "What are you smiling about?" He said, "I believe you're Tanya Tucker's new bass player." I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, they called and said for you to call them that they wanted to hire you."
Awesome.
I was like,
huh?
Wow.
Yeah. Fowler's a good guy. I know
He
Dave.
is. He's one of my best buddies.
Yeah, Dave was here with Lori Morgan a couple times, and then Dave had a gig. I tried to get in this band. He plays, or did play with Billy Bob Thornton.
Yes.
And I wanted to play, because Billy Bob Thornton only works like a month or something. I wanted to play in that band.
I got a chance to meet him. He played in the theater in my hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Dave was still playing with him, and man, Billy Bob was so cool to hang out with.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because Dave said, "Well, when you talk to him, just don't mention movies."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, he's here to do music. I wouldn't do that."
Isn't that weird that they're like that? Because Randy Owen of the band Alabama is a cattle guy, a cow guy. And I was working on this cattle farm when I played in a band. I was in Confederate Railroad, and we'd go to these auctions and all that stuff. And Randy was great, and Randy's a good guy anyway. But same thing, man. Don't people come up talking to me about music, because he was all about cows at that time.
Yeah, right. So we're at the
so
moment.
he's probably.
Guys, Nancy's got a question for you.
Nancy, where's Nancy? Where is Nancy?
Nancy
is on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Okay, Nancy.
Mentioned that there was a jealous of a guitar that Keith has.
Yeah.
What is that guitar, and what is it?
Yeah. Well, Keith just informed me the other day. We were talking about Alabama, and that Teddy Gentry, who you all know is the bass player in the band Alabama, played for years. Played the same bass guitar for many years. A lot of guys do that. Play the same guitar, and it was kind of a symbol of the band. Anyway, tell me how you ended up with that guitar. He said you broke into his trunk, and then what?
Yeah, become friends with Teddy because I used to play with Jeff Cook's band on the side called the Chosen Few. So I became friends with Teddy, and he played a Music Man bass all those years on the TV shows, on the recordings, and I used to watch him on TV before I ever met him. And I was like, wow, look, and he, I started getting him with other companies, like Lakeland and Warrior, other bass companies that he was really interested in playing some of their basses. And so one day I was at the gym in Nashville, And I get a phone call from him, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I just got out of the gym." He said, "Can you come down here?" It was a recording session in Music Row. I'm producing this thing, and he goes, "Would you come in and play one song?" I said, "I just got out of the gym." He goes, "No, I want you to come right now." I said, "Okay." So I went down there, and when I walked in, he said, "Play my old bass on this song." Well, he knew I played these basses. I used to collect them, and I said, "Well, sure, I'd love to play that bass."
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it was just incredible. So after I played the song and went back into the control room, he grabbed the bass, and I thought I was going to put it back in the case, and he handed it to me and says, "It's yours." I said, "What?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, Teddy." He goes, "No." He goes, "I'm giving you this bass." And of course, I cried like I'm about to do now talking about it.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful guy. And I cherish it. And he signed it because he got that bass when they were the house band at the Boundary in South Carolina and Myrtle Beach before they were actually Alabama. So he signed it. He called it Myrtle. So he said, "Please take care of Myrtle."
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why would you be jealous of that? Well, I am. So that's awesome. That's all. You know, Alabama was one of the reasons that I moved to Nashville. We had a little band like you. You know, we all grew up. Keith and I grew up similar because you played in your dad's band, and I played in my dad's band. That's kind of what you did when you were a kid. And I played fiddle. My dad played all these damn square dances all night long.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm ready to die back there when I'm in the 9th grade or 10th grade. But anyway, the band Alabama opened up a bunch of doors for guys like me because I had a band, and I always thought, we could do a band thing. Before Alabama, with the exception of maybe the Statler Brothers and the Oak Ridge Boys, there were some groups, pardon me, but there wasn't really
No
bands.
bands,
Everybody that was a star was a solo act, not a band. Some of the guys were cool that featured their band. Buck Owens, his band, Merle Haggard, those guys all featured their band, but most of the people that were the stars. Anyway, Alabama busted that door wide open for guys like me because we come along and with a band called Sawyer Brown. And then after us, there was a lot of guys came. Highway 101 came after us. I'm friends with a bunch of those guys. Then Diamond Rio came, and then Restless Heart came, all these other bands. And I say that to say you ended up in a couple of pretty famous bands yourself. So tell me how you ended up in Lone Star.
Well, I was, Trisha Yearwood had pretty much taken a big break because we had toured with Garth all of '98. So she, in 2002, she's taken a break. So I started playing with Sons of the Desert, which they had already lost their deal, and they were just doing some dates. So I went out and played with them. I was big fans, great band. And I got that feeling. I was like, well, I would like to get in a band and get a deal.
Yeah.
So they ended, and I got a call from Lone Star. They were like, well, you're the highest singing bass player on the list.
Yeah.
Because of your vocal. And they said, would you be interested? And I already met the guys many years ago, so I played bass for them for 2 years. And then that meantime, I put out on social media, that I'm looking to be in a band to get a deal. And Brady Seals from the band Little Texas had done his solo career, and he called me up and said, "I hear you're looking for a band." I said, "I am." He said, "Well, we've got a band, and would you be interested in coming over and singing a couple songs?" He had a producer come over and who had produced Lori Morgan, all these people, Richard Landis, and we played a couple of songs, and Richard said, "I think I can have y'all a deal within a month."
Yeah, really?
Yeah, and he did.
Wow,
We got
awesome.
signed to DreamWorks, and the rest is history. I mean, the band didn't get to last too long. A lot of things, radio and record companies, people leaving and all that,
Yeah, people don't understand that when you're on a major label, and I felt the pain of this a few times myself. So it's a family. A guy signs you, like let's just say working here. Our boss is Roger and Heather Byers. Well, everything's all cool and everything goes along just fine. Well, in the record business, nobody owns anything, and for any different reason, they could decide to fire somebody for whatever reason. When your head person leaves, your deal might maybe not necessarily leave, but then you don't become a priority on the label, because if you don't have that guy, whoever that guy may be. You know, our guys were different guys along the way, but. So that can happen to a band, and it can really affect your career and put you right in the tank. Because if you've got a guy that works at this record label that loves you, that's taking care of you and making sure your records are out there and getting on radio and doing all this stuff and making sure you're getting on these tours, all that's good. Well, that guy goes away for whatever reason, and then the new guy comes in, and maybe he's got other priorities. Maybe he likes somebody else. Maybe he didn't sign. There's a lot of ego, a lot of money, a lot of politics in that business, and some of it's not pretty. But it is what it is. The band that Keith went on to form was called Hot Apple Pie, and he was in that band. And here's the only thing I remember. Of course, I remember Brady. Brady Seals was in a band called Little Texas. For all of y'all, I'm a country music the buff here, and he had a single. They had a couple different singers. Rushlow was the lead singer who sang lead on Texas. God blessed Texas. But Brady stepped up and sang lead on, was it My Love? Mm-hmm. My Love, which was a big song. And then he kind of left that band, kind of got his own thing going. But
he was one of the big writers in the band.
Yeah, he was one of the major writers in the band, too. But one of the main things that went around Nashville, that was buzzing around Nashville, was there's a new band. They got signed. They're called Hot Apple Pie. Yeah, well, what's going on? I don't know, but Keith Horn's in that band. Yeah. So that's true. That's true. So that was, a lot of people were talking about you being in that band. So, because you had it pretty loaded up with heavy hitters. There wasn't many.
It was a really good band.
There wasn't many guys. We haven't talked to our guests this morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Ed McMahon of the show, the Jerry Lewis of the show, or the real, whatever you want to show, star of the show is, of course, Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie, good morning. Are you here today?
Good morning. Good morning. I'm here.
How you doing? Every week, everybody. Fast Eddie, he does his album pick of the year, or of the week, I mean, and he talks about. He's got his favorite album. And what could your favorite album possibly be today?
My all-time favorite show here at the Opry, of course, this week was the unbelievable Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee. And, of course, they signed my Urban Cowboy album and Johnny's solo album and a couple pictures and 45s. But Mickey Gilley was a special guy. Bobby knows him real well. This man, I watched him. Every time he would do a show, he would sit out here for almost 2 hours signing autographs to everybody that wanted to meet Mickey Gilley.
Gilley was I don't know. I don't think they make guys like that anymore. You know, he came out of the honky tonks, playing in the beer joints and all that stuff, and slugging his way through the business. But what a great man! I have a steel guitar that I can't top you, but almost top you. I went to, when I left Sawyer Brown, I went to play for Mickey Gilley in Branson, and I played fiddle and steel for him for about 2 years over there while I was doing other things back and forth. And I was playing steel, and he said, hey, man, there's an old steel guitar in the back room. Go back there and look at it. So I go back and look, and it's an old, about a 78 or 79 Showbud, blonde, double-neck Showbud, and it was really cool. And he said, you can have it. So I still have that. So I had the back neck taken off. You play a little bit of steel. If you're a steel guitar player, they say the back neck will take you to St. Louis to the show, but the front neck will take you to Kroger's. Yeah. So I never cared anything about going to the steel guitar show. I always took those necks off.
Bobby, we got a question on here.
Played slide. Yes, sir.
They want to know, how were we able to score Keith?
Wow. Well, Keith doesn't probably know this, but so here's my stalking story. About, and God bless Kevin Kingston, everybody, who spent 13 years of his musical career right here on this stage.
Yes.
Who?
Yeah. Don't ever say that again, because I will punch you in the face. I
love Kevin.
I will punch you in the face, even though you're bigger than I am, because I love Kevin Kingston. And he, again, 13 years of his musical career here on stage, and we will all miss him. He had some health issues, and he thought it was time to retire. Well, last year, he thought he was going to retire last year. We had a talk, and I said, oh, man, don't do it. You know, come on. And he said, I really have to. You know, he says, it's just beating me down. So I think must have been about a year ago, I threw a line out to Keith Horn because I seen, Keith doesn't know that I've been stalking him for all these years, but I've been a big fan of his. So, because the guy's awesome. The guy's like, he's not just a bass player. He wrote the book on it, I believe. But so I thought, man, I'd seen that you'd moved away from Nashville. I knew that you were doing a Branson gig similar to this. Tell us about that.
2017, Michael Peterson, great artist,
Yes.
called me up and said, hey, we're putting a show together in Branson called Raiding the Country Vault, which Raiding the Rock Vault was the biggest show in Vegas for 5 years running. Same guy wanted to put a country vault in Branson. So he told me who all was going to be in the band. You know, good friends of mine, Michelle Poe and Steve Ramsey on keyboards, Billy Yates, who wrote George Jones hits. And I was like, wow, that sounds really neat. And I was like, but he said, we want you to play guitar. And I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, you were recommended because you know every classic guitar, you know, classic country song guitar, Merle Haggard. And I said, that's what I grew up on. And he said, well, we'd like, you know, love to have you out here to do it. And
Yeah, Keith's also an awesome guitar player as well.
no. But so I said, you know, yeah, I would love to, you know, I wasn't doing anything at the time with anybody. I said, I'll come out there. And so I did. And I was out there for a year. And I don't know, just certain things. And you know, I was just like, I don't think I'm going to stick any longer. And then me and Michael both left. And they continued, I think, for another year, maybe two of that show, and then it ended.
Well, so I knew that he had moved out to Branson, and I can't tell you all about we could do a whole show on Nashville. What year did you move to Nashville?
1990.
So he moved to Nashville in 1990, and you know the story he just told you about going to the Stockyard and grabbing a gig. And I moved to Nashville in 1978. And it was just a different town, even probably in 1990, than it is today. And for a guy like me, you know, I used to get a lot of work. I did the same thing, played this guy, did that, did this and that. But now Nashville has nothing for me, which is how I ended up here. So I saw Keith had been out in Branson, and then I saw that he moved back to Virginia, and I watched you on Facebook a lot, which you didn't know. So about a year ago, I think I reached out to you and said, hey, man, would you ever, because the show that we do here, especially our Friday Night Live, is similar to the show that they did in Branson. And I said, would you ever be interested in coming to Florida and starting a gig here? And he said, well, I don't know. We talked about it a little bit. He said he might, thought about it, but didn't know. And I'll let you know. And he said, maybe not. But I didn't. Kevin was only thinking about leaving then. I wasn't like I could offer him a position. I just kind of feeling him out to see if I could get him on the hook. And he jumped off the hook and lost the bait and the bobber, the whole thing. So when Kevin, at the end of this year, called and talked to me and said, listen, I really have to go. I really have to retire. I'm just wore out and tired. And I said, I get it. I love you. I hate it. But okay, I reached back out to Keith and I said, hey, what do you think about moving to Florida? And I'm thinking he's going to go, and he goes, well. So anyway, one thing led to another, and thank God Keith Horn is now here. And
Because I told him, I said, I've been thinking about
Yeah.
Florida. I said, for the last 5 years, I kept telling my girlfriend, I was like, I'm going to end up in Florida somewhere, somehow.
yeah,
Because I like warm weather. The older I get, I can't stand cold.
yeah, a little cold in Virginia. Well, tomorrow we'll see. It's not going to be too warm, but Keith and I and a couple buddies are going to go on a Harley ride here. I'm going to ride over to Joe's Crab Shack. Supposed to be about 40-something in the morning, so you may not think it's Florida, but it should warm up a little bit. Anyway, you know what I was going to tell you? We're auditioning guitar players, and we're trying to find a new guitar player because our guitar player unexpectedly left. And so we're looking for guitar players. And the guy that's coming this weekend, I stalked him on Facebook. He's a Harley rider. So
He
so
rides.
I
And
mean,
he also plays left-handed.
oh yeah, isn't that weird? He's the stage is going to look weird if this guy comes on because we'll have guys on both sides of the stage playing guitar left-handed and make me playing wrong. You guys will be right and I'll be wrong. But we got another guy coming this weekend who's awesome, and that's what I said. I said, well, you ride Harley, you got a better chance of getting the gig already.
Hey, Keith, Dave wants to know how many instruments do you play?
That I actually play. Well, I played drums before I played bass, so started on guitar, then drums, then bass, and then steel guitar. But I I don't know if I could.
What'd
say
you
I
play for your dad when you were in your dad's band?
I actually played. Well, we started in bluegrass, so I started on acoustic. The whole flat picking thing, and that's. I was a flat picking champion for some years in Virginia.
Isn't that wild?
Well, that's what I grew up on, and then played drums in his band. Then I played bass for 2 years, and then got offered a job with a 9-piece horn band, top 40 band. And by that time, I was ready to start playing some other stuff.
Hey, Eddie, if you run back there and grab one of my acoustic guitars back there. My dressing room's open. I don't know if I have a flat pick somewhere, but I'm going to get Keith to play guitar for you. Because,
Lord.
well, one of the most fascinating things to me is, anyway, I want to say this before we move on. So you started playing bluegrass with your dad. My dad didn't play bluegrass, but he played like hillbilly music, and they did square dances up north.
Yeah.
The square dances were big. You all know did square dances, right? My dad would call them. And so I started in the 9th grade in school. In like the 7th and 8th grade, I'm playing violin in the orchestra at high school. And then on the weekends, I'm out there playing Boil That Cabbage Down and all that stuff. And those kids would, there was a guy, I remember, that was first chair, first violin. I was first chair, second violin, and there was 4 violins in the high school thing. I could never beat this guy out and the girl, so there was 2 people ahead of me. Anyway, he would play, his name was Danny Lee, he'd play all this concert stuff just like crazy, Asian guy, and just crazy, like Tchaikovsky and all that stuff. Tchaikovsky was a piano player, but anyway, but he'd do all that when the teacher was out of the room, and I'd say, yeah, well, okay. And then I'd grab my fiddle and I'd say, well, do this. Then I could play all these old hoedown stuff.
Right.
And the teacher hated it. The teacher would catch me and call my dad and said, that boy of yours is fiddling around again in my class.
Fiddling.
But 15 years after I had graduated from high school, we played my little hometown with this guy named Kenny Rogers. And my violin teacher sat right in the front row. And I played the fiddle. Anyway, off to that. So what I wanted to tell you about Keith was...
Am I supposed to do something?
Yeah. So Keith's approach to a guitar is fascinating to me because the guitar he plays not only left-handed, but it's a regular guitar. You can see that's my guitar. One that Rudy Gatlin praised, by the way, and tried to take, and I think he left a
Is there
pick.
still a pick in there?
Yeah, he left
It is.
he left a pick inside. That's going to be my claim to fame is
great.
Rudy Gatlin's picks inside. But Keith learned to play guitar, so it's upside down. It's literally upside down. So any of you all that play guitar or anything know that your high E string's on the top, your low E string and your high's on the bottom. His is exactly opposite because it's completely upside down, which makes it backwards. And how he learned to play guitar like that, I don't know. How did you come about that? You have to get pretty close to that.
Well, I actually started playing. My dad was trying to teach me at 6 years old to play right-handed,
Yeah.
which I'm a right-handed person totally. I do everything right-handed. And I just didn't feel right, so I laid it down. Then one day after school, I guess I was around 7 then, came in one day and picked it up and started strumming on it. And he said, So he switched the strings around, and I learned to play with it left-handed with the big string on the top.
Okay.
And then I don't know, I was about 11. Then I don't know, one day I picked up his Telecaster, which was right-handed, and I started messing with it, and I just felt better playing like this.
So it's completely backwards to tradition, not tradition, but to a guy that plays like I do, but it all makes sense to you that way, right?
Yeah, it does. And playing the chords is the only weird thing about it, the rhythm. Especially playing like bluegrass. I would much rather play strung left-handed.
Yeah.
You can play like the correct rhythm.
Right. But so do you rhythm from the bottom up?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
All right, so I have a question, and I
Yeah.
have to interrupt because this person that asked this question is very important, mainly because he signs my checks. But are you ever going to play the upright bass for people?
Well, we talked about
Yeah,
that.
we talked about it. I've only I have hardly ever played a acoustic bass, upright bass. A friend of mine had one, and I used to plunk around on it, but it's such a different instrument.
Well, also because you play bass the same inversion the way you do this, so the bass would you stand on the other side of it,
Yeah, I
or
would have
just
to stand
completely restring it
No, I have to stand on the other side of it.
and
Yeah.
play it that way? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is that awesome? Awesome. You want to play something for us?
Well, I don't have.
Hey, Eddie, Fast Eddie. He's trying to find a pick. Eddie will find one. Eddie's a rat. Here, come on. Have any questions out of the audience? You have to yell out because I can't hear. Yeah.
How do you finger the chords upside down? Yeah, I don't know. It kind of came to be just playing, playing the chords, but I've just been doing it for so many years now. And bar chords, almost easier.
So
upside
D,
down.
do you play guitar a little bit? So you know what D is down here shaped like this. So his D is going to be like that. Yeah, he's got it down. That's amazing.
There's certain chords, C is kind of weird to hit.
Yeah. But did that all fall in place like in one day or something? You just went, wait a second.
It just felt comfortable like that.
Captain
my
Kirk to
mind-
the rescue.
Oh, there's Captain Kurt to the rescue. Oh, he went and bought one. It's an Orange Blossom Opry pick.
Oh wow,
All right. You play with a straight pick, right?
I do.
I can't get this out of here. Now, what about, hey, Captain Kurt? Yeah, I can't get it out of there. Oh, he's got, get the blowtorch out. Ah, he's got the big old knife here, which just slice this and my
See,
finger.
Bob, you didn't open up a whole nother segment of the show.
Yeah, with the knife? I can't close
Oh.
this thing. Oh, man.
Oh,
could've-
you want to plug it in?
Oh, yeah, you're going to be. This is big time here. This is not Branson, man. This is big. This is big time. I'll tell you what, though. Here's what we do. There. By God.
Good.
There he goes. See if he gets some volume. Let's see, volume will be that way.
And that's the only thing about playing right-handed guitars. I can't see the volumes there.
Oh, yeah, all the volume stuff and all that stuff's on the bottom underneath it. Oh, God. So not only then did you learn to play like that, but then you learned to flat pick like that, which is even more difficult because it's.
Oh.
Put your mic right there first.
All right.
Isn't that weird, y'all? So as I watch you play the things that I play, whatever, which I immediately think is going down,
Right.
is all going up on your.
Yep.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, that's why he doesn't play guitar for us, folks, right there. That's awesome. All right, well, you want to sing one? Come on, just sing chorus, verse, something. Rudy Gatlin done messed up my guitar.
Let's see. I bet just. Well, I ain't gonna work on the railroad. And I ain't gonna work on the farm. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back. Roll in my sweet baby's arms. I said, now roll in my sweet baby's arms. Roll in my sweet baby's arms. I'm gonna lay around the shack till the mail train comes back. Roll in my sweet baby's arms. I've never played Bobby's guitar boy. I'm trying to hold it up too.
But now you have opened up another can of worms because our boss at Just One said to me just recently, "Well, you guys ever think you'd do a bluegrass show?" And I said, "No, nobody can sing like that." Oops. Oops. Now we know we can, so we might do that. But Speaking of bluegrass, we've got some of the best bluegrass acts, I think. Well, a couple of the best one. Ricky Skaggs will be here.
Yes.
You ever been around Skaggs much?
A few times.
Yeah, he's a
Few times.
player.
Nice man, too. Very nice.
I got to tell you a story about him. So they're here rehearsing. This is center stage, so Ricky Skaggs was standing right here. And he's got this kid that plays guitar for him. And this kid's from Utah. I only know that because that's kind of where I'm from. And so they're playing something. I'm sitting down there just listening to sound check. It's like 10 in the morning or something. And it's like that, 100 mile an hour, blah, 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 whatever. And that kid goes, "You're playing that one note wrong." To Ricky Skaggs. Skaggs, what? That one note, something right there. Anyway, told Ricky he was playing around. Well, I'll be. And he was. But I said, who tells Ricky Skaggs he's playing the wrong note? But he was. Anyway, Skaggs will be here. He's awesome. They got that date up on the book. Did you put that up there, Apostle? You did? Okay.
Captain Kurt did.
Captain Kurt. Another thing, one of my favorite, bluegrass bands and favorite people, I guess you would say. Rhonda Vincent will be here. And Rhonda Vincent will be here on March 2nd. And, what a trooper she's been. The music business is a tough business. The bluegrass business, I don't know. I don't want to say predominantly a male thing, but, for years, Flatt and Scruggs and Bill Monroe and all that stuff. And along comes Rhonda Vincent just beating her way, through that business. It's tough. And what a wonderful person she is. She's funny. She's a prankster. Played jokes on me several times. And the worst joke she played on me was last year or the year before. She had this guy named Hunter, somebody, I can't think of his last name, played fiddle for her, world champion fiddle player, like crazy fiddle player. So she's up here playing, and I'm just watching the show, and all of a sudden, right in the middle of her show, she goes, "Hey, Bobby, go get your fiddle." I go, She said, no, go get your fiddle. I said, no, I'm not getting. No, go get your fiddle. I said, I'm not getting my fiddle. I'm not getting up there playing with it. Well, she's, I don't know how well you know her, but she's getting her way, So she just stops the show. So I have to go get my fiddle. Now, they were kind enough to we just played Faded Love, which was easy enough to do. But anyway, she's awesome. Her brother's awesome. I just saw where Rhonda celebrated, 35 or 36 years of marriage, being married to some guy. So good for her for all of that. So we look forward to that. If you're a bluegrass fan, any other questions out here, audience? Quiet. Oh, yes, sir? Oh, you just have to pee? Just put your hand up because you have to pee? Okay. I can't hear these guys here. You couldn't believe what? Yeah, maybe you can help me with this, Apostle. They play through some kind of microphone, and Skaggs does too. It's like you can hear a pin drop over there.
Yeah, it's a ribbon mic. It's they all use the one. It's kind of like, oh, thanks. They all just circle around the one mic and it picks up. It shoots like a shotgun pattern, so it picks everything up.
Multi-directional.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's multi-directional, yeah.
Yeah, pretty awesome how they do that. And that comes from the old bluegrass days. Even some of that extra measure of 5 at the end, it was reasons that they did that for people to readjust to get to the microphone in the old days, because the old days they all just sang around one mic and played. So what did your daddy play, Keith?
I actually played fiddle.
Oh, really?
And bluegrass thing, and then he played guitar too. But he was totally a bluegrass fiddle player.
Yep. Did he sing high?
No, actually he didn't.
Oh, really?
No, not really. No.
Well, not all those guys sing high. That seems to be a thing, but some of those guys.
I'm a big Osborne Brothers fan.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Well, there's. Let's see. I guess that's all we have for bluegrass is Rhonda Vincent and Ricky
I think we
Skaggs.
have a question in the audience.
Yes.
I just wanted to say, we've been coming here for 23 years, and there's been a lot of changes here, and you've really brought a lot here.
I couldn't hear what you said.
Yeah.
'Cause I have
They've been
headphones.
coming for, I thought he said 23 years.
You've been coming
and
here for 23 years,
You brought a lot to it.
and I've ruined the place.
That's City.
That's
That's it. Take your mic out, please, and go to them.
Well, I can't.
On to the next question.
I can't take credit for everything, or I don't like to take credit for anything. But
Death City.
here's kind of what happened on my half. When I came here, I was a side guy. I just came over here. I was playing steel and fiddle. You remember that? And it was actually kind of fun. I had left Confederate Railroad, and the reason I did this was I'd been playing steel for Confederate Railroad for about 7 years, playing the same songs every night, and I wanted to be a better steel player because in between then, you know, I was playing other things, so I came here to become a little better steel player for no other reason. Anyway, things started to change, and you know, it's the boss. You can't do anything unless the boss wants to do something. You know, you can just stand and beat your head against the wall. And you know, Roger and Heather both had these ideas that we kind of sat down and talked about where they saw this place going, and we're all on the same page. Everything seemed to work. And what's happening is, especially this year, the crowds have been awesome. The crowds have been amazing. And you know, Roger, they both let me put together a crackpot band. Let me bring guys like Keith Horn to the folks here at the Orange Blossom Opry, and have a really, really, you know, they say, well, it's you know, I don't know what band's better than any. I know this is, you'll agree with me on this before long, it's the hardest working band I've ever been in because you play so many songs and have to learn so many songs and stay on top of it. But I try to make sure that every song, everything we play is awesome. And with those guys bringing in all these outside acts that are great, it's just a great little entertainment place. So thank you for recognizing what I've done, but on the same hand, thank you, the audience, all the people for supporting all of this, because none of this would matter if nobody
Right.
came. So thank you all for supporting the Orange Blossom Opry, because generally every night this place is packed. Yes, sir.
Keith, we got another question for you.
Sure.
Which, and actually, I'm going to change it to both of you. What is your favorite ballads that you guys sing?
My favorite ballads?
Yes, sir. While he's thinking, Bobby, think of yours.
Oh, I could, yeah. I don't know. I'm not really a ballad singer, so
Or song.
yeah. Well, so what I do, Keith's an incredible singer. What I do is try to find a song that I can try to match my voice with, and try to maybe. Sometimes I sing that "Don't Let the Old Man In." I try to find songs that will affect the audience, that will get them, because Keith, I'm just saying this, can open up his mouth and just start singing the phone book, and they'll go, ah, because he's awesome. I got to dig around and find something that's going to grab your nerves, which is why I sing "Who Let the Dogs Out" a lot. It's probably my favorite performance.
Not that I'm singing because I'm singing the song, but one of our favorites, because I mess with steel, is we do "Look at Us," and that song just.
Yeah,
It's a
Keith
wonderful
kills "Look
song.
at Us." You know, another song we could do is, if you want, is you could do "Together Again."
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you know that, and
Oh,
you know
yeah.
Dougie will wear it out.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Another song we play that I haven't done, that I just ragged sing, is we sing "Rainy Day Woman."
Oh, yeah.
Because that was Ralph Mooney, and we did
Yes.
Dougie. I'll tell you another thing, not to take the light away from any of us, but you know, you can say what you want to say. I've been in Nashville. I moved there in 1978, and I knew a lot of those steel players when they first came to town. Boughton, Mike Johnson. I'm friends with some of the biggest steel players that are in Nashville. And it's not because I'm anybody, it's just because we all kind of came to town at the same time. You know, I remember Mike Johnson played for Bill Anderson for 100 years, and all these guys that I know. But I can say this, there's not a steel player that's any better than Doug Stock, our steel player. I don't think that I mean, there might be somebody that can play faster or do this, but overall, all-around steel player, I mean, Dougie's a bomb.
He is. He plays wonderfully.
Always in tune.
Yes.
Always the
Great
right part.
tone.
Yeah, and every once in a while, Dougie, we all, of course, you'll learn this. We all check each other in the band, and I'm usually the guy that gets the stink eye the most, because I play something, I go off the rails, and everybody kind of give you the stink eye. Rarely does Dougie make a mistake. Rarely, but when he does, man, we really like to lean on him. I do. Yes, sir.
I've been coming here 5 years or more.
Yeah, talk in there. I can hear you probably better.
I came here for 5 years, and at first you were squeaky,
I was what?
very squeaky, and every year it got better and better. And I brung a lot of people here through the years, and they said, "Why didn't we know about this place? You play a good variety of everything," and they just love it. They said, "If we don't like one thing, sooner or later we're going to get what we like."
Well, thank you so much.
I think what he said is you don't suck anymore.
Yeah, right. Well, when I first came, I was just the steel player, and so I just was doing my job. And then Dougie came back, and I stayed, and I played fiddle, so I just played fiddle, and that was pretty cool. But when we finally got all this stuff together, I think what you see is maybe a reflection of me. I told you I'm kind of a music man guy. I've never done anything else. I've never really had a day job. I was in the Army. I graduated from high school. I went in the Army. I came back. I started a little band. I think I drove truck for a couple years, and I moved to Nashville. And I've never done anything. But what you see is a reflection of the music that I like, and I grew up with and I like. So I'm a big Merle Haggard fan, and I'm, of course, a Vince Gill fan. All of that 90s country music is when I was in Nashville. I was a part of that. I was making records. I could tell you a story about a guy named Mike Bradley, who you have no idea who he is, probably single-handedly changed the sound of country music by his work with the kick drum, that he did so much work on his drums and kick drum. Go listen to some of those early Brooks and Dunn records. So I'm a big old mess of all that stuff. My head's kind of like a beehive, I guess. But I also love the Eagles, and I also like ZZ Top. So that's what we do, is we just kind of pick songs. I told Keith, I don't really care what song you sing. Let's just make sure that it's a big song that somebody will know. That, you know, we can't play something that you guys don't know. We don't do any originals. You know, maybe once in a while we might throw something in. But if I find this, if you play and play it well, play a Merle Haggard song well, how can you not like that? Well, then if you play an Eagles song and play it well, we play. So that's what we do, is I try to do that. So thank you for noticing, because we try to play a plethora. That's a big word for a hillbilly. Plethora.
I never liked bluegrass because seeing Ricky Skate.
Oh,
Yeah,
and Rhonda. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, sometimes I've been caught up in, well, I don't really like that, but you look at the talent, and I think, Keith may have a different opinion, but I think if you want to find the young players who are really the players who can really play, you need to look into bluegrass music, because, you know, not taking anything against the rock guys, but man, it's just that guitar and you up there playing, and boy, some of those kids are awesome, just awesome, yeah. No effects, no
Bobby
tricks.
D wants to know, how many instruments do you play?
Well, I don't know. When I was a kid, I played guitar because my daddy did, and my dad was like Keith, you know, had a band and I played on weekends with him. I wanted to play drums because I'd sit home and practice. Somehow I got some drumsticks, and I'd beat on the couch and whatever you could hit on to play drums. Mm-hmm. And my mom discouraged me of that, and somehow my dad had this old fiddle player that was really old. This was when I was just a little kid. He was like 90. The coolest thing about all is I have his violin, but he played my dad's band. And, and my mom said, you know, you need to play fiddle so you can play with your dad. This is in 7th grade. So sure, that's what I want to do. So I took violin lessons and I played violin. And if I would have just stayed on playing one instrument, I'd probably been a great violin player. But I got, you know, ADD and got off and into playing guitar, because playing violin in high school, I didn't go to the prom. I didn't have a girlfriend. I was not cool. I was 6'5" and about 90 pounds and played violin. And so that, you were not very popular. So the guitar took me that way, and I played guitar. And then one day, you know, I heard Together Again, and I went, whoa, what's that? And that's what drug me over to wanting to play. And I don't know how much you all know about the pedal steel guitar, but you got to be about half crazy to even want to mess with that. It's not, people just look at the steel player, and
I think it's got to be the hardest instrument.
it is the hardest instrument without a doubt, because you look at the steel player and you just think he's just playing with his hands and his pick, right? Because he's down there looking at that. That's really the least of what's going on, because you play the majority of that instrument with your legs and your feet, because they push all these pedals and push all these levers, and it's like sitting up there running a computer or something. So.
And really heavy to move too. Yeah. Bob, there's a couple things we got to, in case somebody just checked in late.
Yeah.
That the big news of the day of the Friday Night Live this
Big
Friday.
news this week, that's right. Big news is Eddie's drunk.
Yeah.
And that's actually not big news.
Little
That's-
head, little
that's,
sinus cold.
Cool. All right, well, no,
Every night occurrence.
the big news, if
No.
you just joined, is our Friday night band it has canceled, and what we're going to do this Friday night is plug in because Louis Prima Jr. is not going to be here, and we're going to. Is it Prima? Prima.
Prima.
Prima. You know, but that's what he gets for having a name like that. Why couldn't he just have a real name like Smith or something like that? Prima. Well, whoever the hell he is, he's not going to be here anyway, so we don't care if we botch his name. He will not be here. Louis P. That's him. All right, how about that? Louis P. is out. But the Orange Blossom Opry Band will be here on Friday night, so come on out and see us,
Yeah,
everybody.
it'll
Get
sell
some
out
tickets.
quick.
Tickets are going to sell fast. Get you some tickets. Come on out and have some fun with us because we'll just do about anything on Friday night. As a matter of fact, if I were to say, Fast Eddie, how about a little Joe Cocker in person over there? Can we get him on the camera?
Yeah. I don't know what.
This don't. Hey, folks.
I didn't practice this one.
Don't punch.
Don't try this at
Don't
home.
delete.
Yeah.
Just because this will only take a minute.
You are so beautiful to me. That's it.
Oh, that's it. We
Hey,
didn't even get the.
I was
Can't
practicing
you
another
see?
song, but we're not gonna have time for that. But we'll have to tune into
Keith was
next
about
week.
to play with you too, and you,
The-
Keith is-
we have a question in the audience.
Man.
He was right there.
We have a question in the audience.
Yes, sir.
Please save us.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank
Welcome,
you.
Keith, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Ah, there
Thank
you go. Yeah,
It's
everybody.
nice to be here.
Welcome, Keith. Yeah.
Thank you.
This I told Keith when he came. I said, "Look, man, this is a lot of folks don't see this, and I always try to give credit to the band. It's the hardest working band. You know, on Thursday nights they're starting this thing now called Showcase, and it's a contest. It's every Thursday night, and all the folks, pardon me, all the folks in this thing are in a contest, and the audience gets to vote on it, which is kind of a cool thing. They come out and sing, and you folks in the audience all get to vote for your favorite singer. The winner goes on to be in the next week, and pardon me, and goes on and on like that. And then at the end of 10 weeks, well, what they don't tell you is the band has to learn all those songs. And you know, there's some we already know, yeah, but some we don't. So you do that, and then you got to learn new songs for Friday Night Live because a lot of you folks come to Friday Night Live. God bless you for doing that. And so we try to keep adding new songs for that. And then the band also backs a lot of these country music artists that come here, and then they're going to have to learn those songs as well. That in the summer, I suppose. Heather, are you up there, hon? Are we going to do the summer series thing again? I suppose we are. Yes, we are.
Yes.
Yes, we are. So the summer series thing, Keith, is where it's like 8 or 10 weeks, and they'll bring in. I think Billy Yates. They'll bring all these guys in, you know, buddies of ours, Wade Hayes, Billy Dean, guys from the 90s. And they all come down and they play with our band. Partially they know because they know the Orange Blossom Opry Band will bring it. You know, a lot of those guys don't. They go out and they play with different bands and people will call them and say, oh, yeah, we got a band, we'll back you up. And you get there and it's not good. And so a lot of people won't even do that. A lot of people just say, we'll just play by myself instead of playing with the band. And it's no disrespect to anybody else. It is just respect to how good the Orange Blossom Opry Band is because they can pull that off. They know that these guys will make it happen. So that's cool, but it doesn't lighten up the load any. still, I just handed Keith the list of all the stuff that goes just to April, and his word was, whoa. So
Yeah.
And this week, the first week of the contest, there was almost all of them are new singers that we haven't seen, other than one that I recognize the name. So it's all brand new singers that get to come in.
Oh,
and
there
sing with
is
this
that are on
outstanding
here?
band.
No
Yes,
kidding?
yes,
all right. Do you have any of the names?
yes. I got them.
who-
Kyra Fitzgerald, she's new. Dwayne Hunt, Dave Connors, Marilyn Hancock, Mike Storm.
Oh.
I'm gonna butcher this one. I believe it's Gosh Boland.
Tony Prima.
Yeah.
Tony
Um,
Prima.
Marilyn Gage? Okay, Gage. All right, well.
Tony Prima.
Marilyn Hancock, Ruth DePasquale, And Christine
Yeah.
Sanders, we know, and then Linda Cisco. So it's a lot of brand new faces for the first week of this competition.
Wow,
And
awesome,
It's going to
huh?
be great. Yeah, it's going to really.
The cool part is what they're going to win is the one that wins it.
Yeah, there's a duet involved in.
Bobby, you want to talk about what they're going to win?
Sure. Hold on a second. What did you say about duet?
Down in a very fine print, if you look in a very fine print of the copy, at least my flyer said that they get to do a duet with Fast Eddie. That's what I read. Yeah. Not really.
Well, then
That's
it's
not
not
true.
here.
That's not true. That's not true.
That'll be awesome.
Calling out sick.
Yeah.
Well, what they do is the winner will get to. We do these Friday Night Lives now. Right now, Friday Night Live, as you know, we're just throwing one in this week because Louis Primo won't be here. But usually in the summer, then Friday Night Live happens every week for probably about May through into December sometime. So it's every Friday night. And sometimes we have a guest, sometimes we don't, sometimes it's just our band. And but one of the things that you'll win in the contest is you'll get to be a guest on a Friday Night Live. We'll also go in the studio and record 2 songs, mostly of your choice, and at a studio, and then we'll give them to you. And you'll have the amazing Keith Horn playing on your CD before you know it. So the band, the Orange Blossom Opry Band, goes in. Have you been to Nathan's studio yet?
I have not.
You have to go over there. Nathan's got quite a little setup over there, and we go into Nathan Smith's mainframe studio and record a couple things. We record a lot of stuff over there through the course of the year, but that's what you win, and so that's what's going on. And then, of course, dinner and a movie with Fast Eddie.
And a song, of course.
Oh yeah, Eddie will sing a song for you. That
One more
In
show.
Storeroom 2.
In Storeroom 2. Yeah, behind the building.
the showroom too. Yes, sir.
The other show that I can't believe isn't sold out yet, but it is an amazing show. 3 days before my birthday, but that doesn't matter. January 27th, Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. This man can still sing.
Oh, they're not really. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Young
but There's
girl.
a few
Was that
tickets.
one of their songs?
Yes.
Get out of my mind.
Yeah.
Was that Gary Puckett's song?
Yes.
What's another one? Come on, Eddie. My love for you. Yeah, Gary
Oh.
Puckett was here last year, and what a nice guy. Because sometimes, I don't want to say that some of these guys aren't nice, because most of them are good guys.
Oh,
I heard that was Eddie's favorite show of all
No,
time.
Lady Willpower is my
Oh, that's
favorite.
it. Lady Willpower. Yeah, he sings real good, and he was here all day hanging out. I don't want to be mean, but I don't judge people. I don't judge people at all. But everybody's. You've played with Garth Brooks, and you played with Trisha Yearwood. You played with Lone Star. You played with Peter Frampton.
Yeah.
I did for 2.5
Peter
years.
Frampton. How the hell do you do that? Well, anyway, so we've kind of seen a lot of that stuff. I have the tendency to not judge, but kind of judge the people more how they act all day, because we got to hang around with them all day. And if they're all good, if they weren't good, they wouldn't be here. Roger and Heather Byers.
I have breaking news.
Oh, breaking news.
Breaking news. Can we have something?
What? Louis Prima's coming.
No.
Just got off the phone with George, and his show is confirmed for May 25th. George Trillinger.
George Trillinger. What day is that,
May
Roger?
25th. It's a Saturday.
May 25th.
Love
Now
it.
you've not seen George Trillinger, and
have not.
let me tell you about George, y'all. I met him when I first came here, and again I was just in the back, and no harm to anyone, but they were pronouncing his name wrong, and because they were calling him George Trillinger or something, and so I finally went up to him. I said, "Man, how the hell do you say your last name?" And he said Trillinger. So we started talking and asking about him. And George, George worked in not Nashville, Las Vegas, for years as a part of this show called The Legends. And it ran for, the show might still be running, because I think George bailed out of that show he wanted to get out of Vegas because he raised his kid somewhere else and somehow ended up here. But if when you think of Mr. Entertainment, it's got to be George, because he does all these characters. He tours with a band called the Fab Four, and the Beatles. They're really good. I went to see them. We have a Beatles band coming here too, but anyway, none of that matters. The Fab Four are awesome, and he goes out and tours all over with them, and he does Ed Sullivan, and he goes out front and does that, and he looks like Ed Sullivan. And he sounds like Ed Sullivan. He also looks like Richard Nixon. But anyway, and then he comes here and does a show. So we'll back George. That'll be a day that we'll play. He'll do Hank Williams. So we'll do Hank Williams, Your Cheating Heart. Then he'll do, let's see, then he'll do Buddy Holly songs. So we'll do Buddy Holly songs. And then we'll do Rolling Stone songs
Yeah.
because he does Mick Jagger. And I'm going to tell you something. If he brings Tim and they do the Blues Brothers, they're two of the best blues brothers I've seen. They come out here, dance, they look like them, and they do the thing. So, George, good for George. We'll get George on the air here. George is never short on words. If you need to kill an hour on
That's
stage,
great.
just tell George, take the guitar, go out there. He's awesome. So good. We're excited to have George coming back. Any of y'all seen George before? You have? He's awesome, right? He ain't no Louis Prima. But, but, what? Who is it? Prima.
Prima. Like
Okay.
prime in your car or prime in something.
I don't prime my car.
Isn't that a new sport energy drink, Prima?
Yeah, I don't know.
Prima.
But I got to tell you this, folks. I got my
prime.
favorite coffee cup today that I got for Christmas. It says, "I love my pharmacist" on it. And some of you may find that weird and think, well, that guy's a drug addict. But my wife is a pharmacist, so that's why I love my pharmacist on there. Let's see, what else can we jabber on here about? Is there anybody coming, Keith, that some of these tribute acts that come are awesome. These guys are coming. Little Texas, you know them.
Oh, yeah, very well.
And look here, the Fabulous
Matter of fact, the
Thunderbirds.
drummer just came back to playing with them.
Oh, the original drummer?
Yeah, he's back.
What's his
playing with- Gray.
Yeah.
He's yeah, because I think he went through a spell there. He had to get off the road, and he's back with him. I just saw, and that's pretty neat.
Yep, these guys. And Riders in the Sky are coming on March 1st.
They're entertaining.
When I first moved to Nashville, I played softball with Ranger Doug. We played softball.
Ranger, oh, yeah.
Yeah, we played vicious competition softball in Nashville. When I first came here, they were playing at a place in Nashville called Wind in the Willows on a Wednesday night, and I used to go down and listen to them play. They didn't have the accordion player back then, but
I was on the Opry with them a lot.
yeah, they're awesome. They're really they're good. You want to come and check out those guys. Little Texas, Hotel California. If you're a music fan of the Eagles, come and check these guys out. We thought we were going to take two of the guys out and spank their booty on the golf course. Ends up one of those dudes. Bad golfer, man. Don't let your mouth overload. What do they say? Your alligator mouth overload your hummingbird booty. Anyway, they'll be here for a couple of days, March 11th in Williams and Reed.
Yeah, got a lot
Oh,
of shows
favorites.
with them.
Yeah.
They're funny.
I had just things just started going good for us in our little band, and I bought a house, not a big house, but a bigger house up in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And I'm just getting moved in, and I'm kind of just hanging around. And all of a sudden, one day I look out, and there's a Rolls Royce in my driveway. I go, what the heck? And I open up, I go outside, and he gets out of the car. And Terry goes, I'm your neighbor. I live right there. So Terry Rhea and I have been friends for many, many years. They're just
Entertaining.
great guys. He goes out, Bruce goes out and plays in the band. When Billy Bob Thornton goes out and tours, he has this one band that opens for him every night, and Bruce plays in that
Wow.
band. So they were up here. Okay, so we got some great shows coming. You know anything about these guys?
I know who they are, but I've never had a chance to see them.
So, and I was like the same way before they came here, the Malpass brothers. And I'd heard about them, because we're kind of in that business. And so I went, well, I'm just going to go sit and see what all the hubbub is about, how good can these guys be?
Looking forward to that too.
And, oh yeah, they'll be good.
Hey, Bobby.
Yeah.
Karen wants to know if you ever played the Grand Ole Opry.
Did I ever play the Grand Ole Opry? Yeah, of course I did. Yeah. Played
That was
it.
a question.
Yes,
Don't
we
shoot the
did.
messenger.
Sure did.
We're running out of time, too. Just so you guys
Okay,
know.
so we're getting out of here. The Malpass brothers, come and see them because they're kind of like the.
Question from the audience. Did you
Yep.
guys are here live?
Yes.
Will you sit in with Sawyer Brown when they come?
Boy, that is the big question, isn't it?
I wondered that myself.
I went up, they just did they got a whole bunch of new things going on, and I was glad that they asked me to be part of it. I went up there to Nashville and we played. I went back and played with the band at the Franklin Theater, and had an awesome time. I don't know. That seems to be the $1 million question: is will I go back and play with them those days? I don't know. I wouldn't. Don't buy tickets based on that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I would never call and say, "Hey, I want to play with you." I wouldn't do that. If they ask me to play, more than likely I'll play. If they do not, that's not part of the deal. The part of the deal is they certainly have done quite well without me, and they'll be fine. So, but our band will open that day. So if I don't get to play with them, I will do my best to get my boys up here to blow their ass off the stage. Yeah, both shows are already sold out. So there's that. Are we out of here, Apostle?
We have, I think, 3 more questions up front, and then
Yep.
yes.
Okay, go.
I just want to say that Heather and Roger have done a fantastic job with this venue.
They have. Heather and Roger have done an awesome job. We talked about that a little bit earlier about not only bringing the talent here, but but taking care of you people. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but there's all brand new seats in the auditorium here with a brand new floor in the auditorium. And although that physically you look at that, it's beautiful, you don't think that stung a little bit. I know where that decimal point was on the check that they wrote for that. So, and it wasn't in the two zeros, it was over a ways. So they are doing an incredible job, and that shows that I think that they care about what's going on. They bring great talent. They're putting money into it. You can see the signs that are up here. You can see the lobby. The lobby's awesome. When I came here, that lobby was orange and was like, oh my God, I never went out there. That lobby's cool. They got a cafe out there. They got the grill. So they're really, really investing in the place and to make things better for y'all. And so, because I really, the bathrooms are awesome. I rarely go in there, but they're awesome. Anybody else before we head out? My voice is taking a hike
All right,
here.
everybody be careful today. Drive home safe.
Yes, everybody.
Weather's supposed to be horrible.
Yeah, bad weather here in Central Florida today. You all be careful, and God bless you all. Thank you for supporting the Orange Blossom Opry. The ride tomorrow's at 10:30. Be here or be left. At Fast Eddie, 10:30 tomorrow. Be here. Mike, you're going to be here? We're going. Mike will lead us over there.
Mike will
So,
lead it.
God bless you all, everybody. Thank you so much. We love you. God bless you, and God bless America. See y'all.
Thank you.